All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into how to find and catch one of the most sought after freshwater fish out there, the walleye.
So, what's the big secret, right? A lot of anglers find these fish pretty elusive, but honestly, it really just comes down to having a clear, repeatable process that takes all the guesswork out of your day on the water.
So, we've taken all the expert advice and boiled it down into 5 key sections. Think of it as a playbook that'll take you from the tackle shop all the way to landing fish in the boat. Let's get into it. Okay, first things first, let's talk about your equipment. And listen, having the right setup isn't just about looking the part, it's the absolute first step to actually being able to feel that famously subtle walleye bite. Now, this right here, this is the classic go-to setup, and for good reason. A medium light rod basically acts like a super sensitive antenna, and it transmits even the lightest little tick of a bite right down the line to your hand. You pair that with a 2,000 to 4,000 size reel, and you've got this perfect balance of finesse, but still enough backbone to handle a big fish. And for the line, just remember this simple rule. The clearer the water you're fishing, the lighter your line needs to be, so you don't spook them. You're going to hear this term, terminal tackle, thrown around a lot. Don't let it fool you. It's super simple. It's just the business end of your setup. Think of it as everything from your main line down to the lure. It's the whole package that you're presenting directly to the fish. Look, you don't need to bring the entire tackle shop out on the boat with you, but let me tell you, versatility is your absolute best friend. Walleye can be incredibly picky, so being able to quickly swap from, say, a plastic minnow to a live leech, well, that's what separates a frustrating day from a really successful one. Oh, and that little screen on the right? A good fish finder is like your underwater eyes. It turns pure guesswork into a precision attack. Okay, so your tackle box is ready to go, but the best gear in the world won't help you one bit if you're casting into an empty part of the lake. So this brings us to the most critical piece of the puzzle, actually finding the fish. Here is probably the single most important thing to understand about how walleye behave. It is all about their eyes. They are literally built for low light hunting, which gives them this massive advantage at dawn, at dusk, or on those gray, cloudy days. That's their prime time to eat. When that sun is high and bright, they're going to retreat to the comfort of deeper, darker water. You have to think of structure as a fish magnet. Underwater points, rock piles, drop-offs. I mean, these are the cafes and street corners of the underwater world. Bait fish hang out here for safety, which means predator fish like walleye are never going to be too far behind, using these spots as the perfect ambush points. Find the structure, and you've found the neighborhood where the fish live. And this is where modern electronics completely, and I mean completely, change the game. Instead of just hoping fish are down there, you can literally see them. Those little arches on your sonar screen, that's the confirmation you're looking for. It tells you that fish are right there, holding on the structure you just found. It lets you fish with so much more confidence before you even make a cast.
All right, you've got the right gear, your electronics are marking fish down below, you are in the red zone. So now what? How do we actually get them to bite? Let's talk about presentation.
Seriously, if you're only going to master one single technique for walleye, make it this one: jigging. It is, without a doubt, the undisputed champion of walleye presentations. Why? Because it lets you perfectly imitate a dying baitfish right in their strike zone. From a shallow spring bite all the way to deep summer patterns, jigging is the fundamental skill that will put fish in your boat all year long. The whole secret here is to make your lure dance on the bottom, that lift and fall motion. It looks exactly like a wounded baitfish, which is just an easy, irresistible meal for a walleye. And here's a pro tip. Most of your bites will come as the jig is falling, so you have to pay really close attention on the way down. Think of this chart as your strategic playbook. Each technique is a tool for a specific job. Jigging is like your scalpel for picking apart a small piece of structure. A slip bobber lets you patiently hang live bait right over a weed bed. And trolling? That's your wide net, perfect for covering huge areas of water when you need to find scattered active fish. Matching the technique to the situation is everything. Okay, this is the moment of truth. You've done everything right, and you feel that little tap on the end of your line. Now it's all about detecting that bite and bringing the fish all the way into the boat. Yeah, unlike a bass that might just slam your lure, a walleye bite can be so subtle. Sometimes it just feels like you snagged a little piece of a weed, or maybe your line just feels a tiny bit heavy all of a sudden.
You have got to be paying attention to that line and rod tip at all times. Now listen closely, because this is probably the single most important piece of advice for a good hook set. While I have these soft, almost papery mouths, if you give a violent yank, you can literally tear the hook right out. Instead, a firm, sweeping motion drives that hook home securely without causing any damage.
You know, getting the fish to the boat is just one part of the story. Keeping that line tight is non-negotiable. Any slack at all is a chance for the hook to pop out. And using a net, that's just smart insurance, especially against losing a trophy fish right at the last second. Remember, handling the fish properly isn't just about this one catch. It's about making sure it swims away healthy so it can be caught again someday.
Okay, let's be real. Even the best anglers on the planet have tough days. The difference is, the pros know how to analyze what's going on and adapt their strategy when things get quiet. Here's a simple rule of thumb that's going to save you from countless hours of frustration. If you are marking fish on your screen, and you've been in that same spot for 10 or 15 minutes with absolutely zero bites, it's time to change something. Don't fall into that trap of doing the same thing over and over, hoping for a different result. The fish are telling you they don't want what you're offering.
Think of this as your diagnostic checklist. No bites at all, the fish probably aren't there, or they're not active. Time to move. Are you feeling those little taps, but you just can't seem to hook up? Your presentation is probably off. Maybe try a heavier jig to stay on the bottom, or even a larger hook. You have to pay attention to the clues the fish are giving you, and then you react.
And here it is, a tip that really separates the amateurs from the pros. Be scientific about your changes. If you change your location, your lure, and your retrieve speed all at the same time, and then you catch a fish, well, you've learned nothing. You have no idea what actually worked. Isolate your variables, change your spot, or change your lure color. That's how you really start to figure out a pattern. And that's the question you should constantly be asking yourself out there on the water. Thinking like this, always analyzing, always tweaking, always adapting, that is what separates a good angler from a great one. And that's our breakdown of walleye fishing. Now you've got the process to get out there and find some success.